Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel, and I've been struggling with the job, with the work, just a tiny bit. Not a huge struggle, but I'm currently working on 3 different games, and then I have a couple of other projects going on as well, all tied into Orangepixel and my business and my company. Regulated City, my main game, it got funded, and it's one of my biggest games, or becoming one of my biggest games. A top-down action shooter. You have a team that's constantly helping you and backing you up with AI that took way too long to write. Then you have superpowers and all that stuff. The game is on track. It's a lot of fun working on the game. The game, I like where it is right now, but there's so much stuff that still needs to be done, and sometimes that's just overwhelming. Then of course I have Heroes of Loot 3, Gauntlet of Power. It's a little side project I started just to have a distraction from the main project. But it's grown so fast and so big into an actual game that it also needs a lot of work to have that game up and running at some point. Then I have Agent of Ooze, a game I'm working on together with Nathan Haragoshi on the Discord. That project is a little bit stalled right now due to a lot of stuff on my end and a couple of things on his end. But it also needs attention. And then I have a mystery box thing project that I can't really talk about just yet, but it has a deadline 2024. If you've been with the channel for a while, you might have some ideas where that's leading. And then a bunch of other things happening, and it's been overwhelming and stressful at times. And also we had vacation a week. We moved to my wife's store. My dad was over last week. There's been a lot of weeks where I was just not fully working on my games and projects. And it's been a little bit of a struggle, I can tell you that. But all those things are over for now. And that meant this week I had to figure out how to get myself back into it, back into the groove, and get going on things. So I had to do a lot of arranging and sorting and scheduling, and something I usually don't do because I just do stuff. I had to sit down and make some sort of schedule. So maybe that's an interesting topic for this week's video. How am I gonna clean up the mess I've made for myself with all these projects? After the intro. Okay, so first of all, let's not exaggerate the problem. I'm at a certain place where I got just too many fun and interesting projects to work on, which, to be honest, is actually a very luxurious problem, because a lot of people have no idea what to work on and they have a much harder problem. Alright, so a little context for those that are new to the channel. I'm a full-time game developer, indie game developer, independent. I work on the titles I want to work on. I create the kind of games I want to create, and I do this full-time every day, day in, day out. Almost. When I sit down and start working at the start of the week, I don't really have a plan or schedule. Most of the time I just dive into the project I've been working on, do a little playtest session, look at the things that need changing or fixing and work on those things. And to some degree that works, but at some point you're just rehashing things and you're not adding new stuff, you're not building big new things into the game. You're just tweaking details and tweaking little things that probably don't matter to most of the gamers, or you can do those in between bigger tasks. So that has been a little bit of my problem recently, where I just wasn't focused and didn't have a right direction to work towards. So I needed to schedule something. And again, I usually don't make schedules. I have to-do lists and all those things. I use Trello for it. Let me just show you the Trello list for Regulated City. All right, let's move it over here to the big screen. So a bunch of lists. This is Trello. If you don't know it, check it out. I like it. It's very easy and simple to use. These lists over here are the stuff I've already done. This was version 46, 47, 48 is what I'm currently working on. Hasn't been released yet. Every now and then I archive these because they're not that interesting. I have a list full of bugs that need to be worked on. I honestly... I haven't been looking at this list that much. There's actually a fair chance that a bunch of these things aren't interesting or needed anymore, required, because they already changed in the game or I already fixed them. I've been sloppy with it. Then there's a to-do list with a bunch of ideas and stuff. And again, I haven't been looking at it that much. I've just been diving into the game and then adding stuff which wasn't on my to-do list. I'm certain there's a lot of developers going, yeah, we know that problem. I shouldn't be doing it. I should put stuff on my to-do list, the important things, and work on those things, and not just come up with new stuff without looking at the to-do list. Then I have big features, again, not really cleaned up for months. Marketing beats, video testers ready to go, gear and items, power blah. There's just a bunch of stuff there. I don't even know if it's still valid or interesting for this game or required. And then I have ideas, which I don't really have to look at anymore because the game, the ideas are clear now. The direction of the game is clear. So this isn't really interesting anymore, but it's still there for whenever I have weird ideas that aren't added to the game yet, I guess. And of course I have this for multiple projects. So here we have the Heroes of Loot 3 project. Much cleaner list because the game is, it's first of all a much smaller game, but also much earlier in development. We had a couple of releases, currently working on version 4, which should be live pretty soon, a new demo. And yeah, this is much cleaner, but most of this stuff is what I've did this week. I actually sorted out my my problems a little bit and started focusing on these things. So this week I really felt like I got back into the groove of things. Before my little vacation and all the other breaks, I played Heroes of Loot 3, and to be honest, I wasn't really seeing what I originally saw in the game. I didn't feel like it was fun, and that wasn't really a problem of the game, but more a problem of my mindset. It just wasn't ready to work on it and have fun and be into it again, and that's a real problem, and that's something you can easily fix. But I don't know, a couple of days just relaxing and having sort of a vacation, spending time with my dad, and I think it all cleared up in my head, or a lot of stuff got cleared up in my head, and I've been working out more and doing a lot more walks outside. I mean, I think we did like 10 kilometers every day walking around. So I've been really just trying to get fit all over, outside, inside, exterior, interior, just getting back into it. And a large part of these issues come from not writing down the stuff you need to do, which pretty much means you're all juggling it up in your head. Once you write it down in a list and you know where that list is, not just write it down on a piece of paper and throw it away, but make sure that list is always there. Once you write it down, you don't have to keep thinking about it, and you can just check the list whenever you are lost or not sure what you should be doing. So I made a list, and now I need to blur something because the project, mystery project, is on there as well. So hopefully I don't forget to blur this stuff, else it's not going to be a mystery anymore. But this is my to-do list. So for a lot of notes and stuff like that, I use Google Keep, which is just very easy, and I can quickly access it on my phone as well. But I mean, this is for all types of lists. Even my grocery list is usually on there. So this is my to-do list for the rest of the year, and it's not complete, but it's for the next couple of months. For Regulate City, I want to wrap up a new demo in July, which is this month. So a couple of weeks left to work on that, but it's very close, so I know it's possible. Then in August, I want to start contacting smaller streamers and YouTubers. I think the game will be ready to just have them enjoy the game and make a good video about it. So we'll see if that's gonna work. For Heroes of Loot 3, I have July. Add more content variation, build up into more full of a game, which is a weird sentence, but you get what I understand myself most of the time. I really want another. It really comes down to also wrap up a new demo and make sure the game is at a certain point that I'm comfortable with it. Because, well, I'll get into that for a minute, but this game is maybe more important than Regulated City right now. We'll get into that. Just let me continue first. In August, I want to get this game ready for marketing, which means that Heroes of Loot 3 should have a playable demo, and I want to add it into events, see if we can get into events and do a little bit more of promotion for it than I've been doing right now. All right, then we have Agents of Ooze, the cooperation project with Nathan. The game is a bit messy. We didn't like the gameplay last time we had a version up and running. We changed the gameplay a couple of times, so there's still one more new idea we had, and I haven't really gotten around to work on it. So that's something I want to try and do as well. It might not be July, it might be August, seeing as these two need a lot of work also. And then just decide if that gameplay works or if we just need to go into a completely different direction, theme-wise, graphic-wise, gameplay-wise, just everything. But it's a co-op game, so I can't decide these things on my own. I have to build it, test it, see what I like about it, then see if Nathan likes it, and then we have to decide if this is what we want to do. And then we have the mystery box, but I'm blurring that, so I can't really talk about it. The things that need to be done for that have just been a little bit of a administrative struggle for me. I just need to really set some time for it. But it's hard to work on this project as it's somewhat of an extra little thing, as long as these projects aren't really on track. So I really need to get these on track first, make sure there is progress on all these projects, and then this one becomes easier to work on maybe in spare time, or maybe just schedule a day. And a lot of stuff that needs to be done on this project or the next step can be done in like 1 or 2 days. So it's not taking a huge amount of time. It's just hard to commit myself doing it when these things need work first. And now that these things are slowly getting back on track, it will be easier to do this project, and hence this list is already paying off. Alright, then besides that, of course, I also have my website, which I've been trying to push and put more stuff onto and more content onto, especially now with all the stuff happening around Twitter and Facebook launching threads and people going to Blue Social and Mastodon, and nobody really has a good alternative yet. And it's been messy, but it also means my audience is harder to find and reach. Of course, I have YouTube, I have my Discord, but still Twitter was a large part of everybody's marketing. And you might not like it, you might not like marketing, you might not like all those things, but it was just a very good tool to have for smaller game developers with less money to spend on marketing. And now that that is slowly maybe going away, or maybe not, if Elon Musk somehow just sells the company to a bigger, better company, although I don't think those exist, it's just messy. So I also need to struggle with that. It's just a lot of projects. And now that I have stuff more clear, and so having this list just makes it a lot clearer in my head. I don't have to keep all those things juggled up in there, and I can just focus on the work every day. And this week I've been working on Heroes of Loot, which was a great thing to get back into, and I've made so many cool improvements. I've been talking about it on Discord without showing anything, but either by the time this video goes live or next week, there should be a new demo of the game. So make sure to come check out the Discord. I'll drop it there and I'll talk about it there. And the game is pretty cool. Now, to get back a little bit about why Heroes of Loot is more important to have that completed than Regulated City, it's gonna be hard to explain. Don't take this the wrong way. Regulated City got funded by Mid-Game Fund, which means it really, the development process, or a lot of the development now has been financed. So I can release this game and money will come in, but I also have to then split shares and revenues and all that stuff. So there will be money coming in, but not a huge amount, which might mean I have a little bit of a problem next year if I release Regulated City and have nothing else. So for that reason, I'm working on that little second game, Heroes of Loot, and I might do a Kickstarter for that one early next year. So it's very important to have that game up at a certain level that I can actually try and make money with that project as well, which would hopefully then pay a good amount of next year on top of what Regulated City will do when it starts selling. And those two games combined will hopefully make a big portion of my revenue for next year. This is just the business stuff that you need to keep in your mind as you're also working on games. It's a lot of fun working on games, but I also need to juggle finances and make sure money's coming in, which is the only, and honestly, I think that's the only stress factor I have with running my own game studio. Money coming in. That's really the biggest worry. If I'm not thinking about that, I have all the creativity and all the energy to work on my games, and that's all a lot of fun. But then it comes to selling those games and making sure money comes in. That's the only stress factor, but it's kind of an important one to worry about. And that's really why Heroes of Loot is now a very important project for me. Regulated City is my main project. Heroes of Loot is my most important project. Both of these games need to be finished early next year somewhere and start making money. And of course then all the other projects are extra, and I have a bunch of other ideas to start working on as well for the next couple of games, and it all hopefully going to be shorter development cycles. Heroes of Loot 3 right now is on track. Haven't spent that much time on the game, but it's already very playable, a lot of fun, and I could show this to investors or Kickstarters, and I think this could sway them enough to be invested in the game. So we'll see how that all goes by the time I have the nerve to start doing that with the game. Later this year, end of the year, early next year, maybe. I'll get to that point. So yeah, that's just a lot of stuff, but I needed to sort these things out. And this is also part of not just game development, but doing it as a business and as a full-time gig. There's just a bunch of things you need to sometimes clear and make time for and schedule it all out. And I really ran into that wall pretty hard the last couple of weeks, but I think I got it all on the road now. Originally this video, like, I still have to plan and schedule my videos better. I want to talk about Regulated City because I've been working on that game a few weeks ago, but there wasn't enough content, and I think this was more of a topic. Next week's video is probably going to be about Heroes of Loot because I've been spending time on that game last week and so many cool things got added, like I just mentioned that, I think. But yeah, I'm very excited about that game. So can't wait to have a new demo out for that one. And then it will be back on Regulated City. Design the new boss. I hope, else this is going to be interesting. If not, this is going to be weird, but I think I drew a sketch of a new end boss. It's a very rough sketch. I'm not sure yet how or what it's going to be, but more bosses need to be added to the game. So this is probably something that I'm going to do pretty soon. I'll just record a drawing so that you can actually see the complete design and build up, and there's more cool stuff added to the game. Just so much stuff going on right now, and I'm in a better place than I was the last couple of weeks or months. Now having just the right amount of time to work on my project. Anyway, I feel just way more energized to work on all these things. So more cool stuff coming to the channel pretty soon. Thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment below, drop on the Discord. It's been a bit quiet here and there, but I've noticed that on most of the channels I've been in, probably vacation time or something. But if you got some time to come and chat, drop in, say hi. There's usually somebody there, and eventually I'll be there as well. I'm there most of the days, just in European time zones. All right, bye.